Hi, today we're going to practice solving and graphing inequalities. So first we have our bell work. It looks crazy, but the process is still the same even though there's fractions. When we have an x on each side, we don't like that. We want to choose one of them to get rid of. I always like to get rid of the smaller x, but that's not a rule. 2 over 5 is smaller than 1 and 2/3, so I'm going to choose to get rid of the 2 over 5. The opposite of a positive 2 over 5 is a minus or a negative 2 over 5. It's supposed to be a 5 right there. X on both sides of the equal sign. I'm kind of going to draw right on top of the other question. Minus 2 over 5x. On this side, 2 over 5x has disappeared. It's 0. Some people like to write 0. I don't. I just cross it off. All we have left now is the minus sign, which we now say negative 1/2. Equals, I can't do that in my head, so I'm just going to use my calculator. 1 and 2 over 3 minus 2 over 5. That equals 1 and 4 over 15 x. And then we still have plus 7. Now it's just a two-step equation. Our goal is to get x by itself. First, we get rid of the thing added or subtracted, so get rid of the 7. Subtract 7 on both sides. Negative 1/2 minus 7 is negative 7.5 equals 1 and 4/15 x. And now we have 1 and 4/15 times x. The opposite of multiply is divide. So negative 7.5 divided by 1 and 4/15, which just sounds crazy, but in the end you can solve it. You get negative 5 and 35 over 38. So there you go, that's that one. And then the second question, how do you know when an equation has no solutions? When you solve, the x disappears and the two numbers on either side of the equal sign are not the same. So like 5 equals 7, or 0 equals negative 3, or 1/2 equals 4.25. Okay, it's not true that 5 equals 7. It's not true that 0 equals negative 3. Anything that's not the same and the x has disappeared, right? So this is me saying no, not good. The x has disappeared, then it's no solution. Okay. So we need to practice. It looks like I forgot to write the goal. The goal is that I can solve and graph inequalities. So we start by having everyone do some practice. Combine like terms. We have a minus 3 and a minus 6. So when we combine those, 0 is greater than 3x minus 9. And now it's just a two-step. Add 9 to both sides of the equal sign. 9 is greater than 3x. Divide both sides by 3, and I'll have to write it over here. We get 3 is greater than x, and then we can graph. I just put a 3, open circle. It says 3 is greater than x. That means 3 is the biggest thing there, so I have to point at all the stuff that is smaller than it. Okay, again, combining. Well, this is kind of cool. A positive 1 minus 1, that's 0. So those just become 0. I'm just going to cross it off. And now we just have 4x is greater than or equal to negative 8. Divide both sides by 4. Now, when we divide both sides by a negative number, that's when we flip the sign. Well, this has a negative number, but it's not on both sides. I'm not doing it on both sides. So we do not flip anything. We just keep the sign the same. And it's x is greater than or equal to negative 2. So greater than or equal means we closed circle. We have a closed circle. And then x is greater than that. So x is all the things that are bigger. So that's how we graph it. Okay, combine like terms. We have a positive 4 minus 5. Sorry, positive 4 minus 5 equals a negative 1. So negative 1 is less than or equal to n 2n minus 1. Now it's just a two-step, add 1 to both sides, but negative 1 plus 1 is 0. I can write down 0, that's fine. Is less than or equal to 2n. Again, negative 1 plus 1 is 0. In this case, I'm going to cross it off because there is other stuff over here. I don't cross it off here because there's nothing else, so I've got to write something. And when there's nothing, then the something I write is 0, because 0 means nothing. And then divide both sides by 2. 0 divided by 2 is just 0, is less than or equal to n. And we can graph that. 0, and it's a closed circle. 0 is less than or equal to n. So that means n is all the stuff bigger than it. Okay, 2n plus 3n. Combine those like terms, we get 5n. And so we have 10 is less than or equal to 5n. Divide by 5 on both sides. 10 divided by 5 is 2, is less than or equal to n. And we can graph that. 2 closed circle because of the line underneath the inequality sign. 2 is less than or equal to n. That means n is bigger than all of those things. Okay, 2p minus 4p. 2 minus 4 is negative 2p. Is less than or equal to negative 2. Divide by negative 2 on both sides of the inequality. And here it is, because right here I'm doing dividing by negative 2 on both sides of the inequality. So on the left side and on the right side, I'm dividing by a negative. Because of that, I flip the direction of the inequality sign. Now, negative 2 divided by negative 2 is just the number 1. So now I have p is greater than or equal to, so closed circle, greater than or equal to 1. If p is greater than, that means it's bigger. Okay, we'll make this the last one that I show you of these practice ones here. Negative 2 times b is negative 2b. Negative 2 times a positive 1 is negative 2. Then this plus 4, I just leave as plus 4 because it is not in the parentheses, so I just leave it there, plus 4. And then I have less than 10. Now I can combine some like terms, minus 2 plus 4, and I get negative 2b plus 2 is less than 10. Subtract 2 on both sides of the equal sign. Negative 2b is less than 8. Divide by negative 2 on both sides of the equal sign, because I'm dividing by a negative on the right side and the left side, both of them. Then I get b, I have to slide it over. Ugh, can't see it anywhere. This is terrible. We'll do it over here. b is greater than, I had to flip the sign because I divided by a negative on both sides. b is greater than negative 4. So I have a negative 4 open circle because there's not a line underneath my inequality symbol. And b is greater than that, so I point it in that direction. Oh, that was the last one there anyway. Then you worked as teams to do some more practice, but it was in your notebook. If you want to see those answers, just go to Canvas and look at the notebook on Canvas. It has all the answers for you. And then Alex homework. And our last one is exit ticket. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times a positive 4 is a positive 12. That is greater than 12. And now it's just a 2-step, subtract 12 on both sides. This is cool. And we get 3x is greater than 0. Divide both sides by 0, you get x is greater than 0, which we can graph like this. A 0, open circle, x is greater than it. So it goes in that direction. Okay, over here, it's already a 2-step. Our goal is to get x by itself, so first we get rid of that 5. That 5 is a positive 5. So the opposite of a positive 5 is minus 5. Negative 13 minus 5 is negative 18, less than or equal to. This was not multiplying or dividing by a negative, so we do not flip the sign. It's only multiplying or dividing. 5 minus 5 is 0. And I still have this minus 2, which now becomes a negative 2x. Now I need to split up the negative 2 and the x, so I divide both sides by negative 2. Wow, I used negative 2 a lot, huh? And we divided on both sides, so negative 18 divided by negative 2 is a positive 9. I have to flip the sign, so 9 is greater than or equal to x. And then I could graph it, something like this. It's a 9. Closed circle. If 9 is greater than x, then x is the stuff smaller than 9. That is practicing solving and graphing inequalities. You got this.